Have you ever felt like you were too small to make a big difference? Well, get ready for a story that will change your mind. This is the tale of Skye, a tiny sparrow with a heart bigger than the whole Ohio sky she called home. Deep in a lush green forest in Ohio, nestled among towering oak and maple trees, lived a flock of sparrows. Among them was a little one named Skye. Skye was smaller than all the other sparrows, and no matter how hard she flapped her tiny wings, she just couldn't keep up. When they would race to the highest branches, Skye was always the last to arrive, her little chest heaving. The other, bigger birds would often chirp and flutter around her, teasing. "Look at little Skye," one might say, "trying so hard but getting nowhere fast." Another would add, "You'll never be a great flyer like us, Skye. You're just too small." These words stung more than any thorn. Skye would often hide in the lower branches, watching the others soar with a heavy heart, wishing she could be as strong and fast as they were. She started to believe them, thinking her size meant she could never be brave or important. One bright sunny afternoon, as Skye was practicing her flying in a quiet part of the woods, she heard a faint sound. It was a tiny, desperate cry. Puzzled, she stopped and listened intently. The sound came again, a little louder this time, filled with fear. "Help! Please, somebody help me!" Skye's heart started to pound. She followed the sound to the base of an old, gnarled oak tree. There, trapped in a tangle of thorny vines, was a baby squirrel, no bigger than her own wing. His little leg was caught, and tears streamed down his furry cheeks. He had been trying to climb down to find his mother when he slipped and fell into the thorny trap. The more he struggled, the tighter the vines seemed to wrap around him. Skye looked around. The forest was quiet. The other birds were far away, likely playing games in the high canopy. The baby squirrel looked at her with wide, terrified eyes. "Please," he whimpered, "it hurts, and I can't get out." Skye's first instinct was fear. What could she, a tiny sparrow, possibly do? She was too small to pull the thorns away. She wasn't strong enough to break the vines. For a moment, the taunts of the other birds echoed in her head. "You're just too small." She felt a wave of helplessness wash over her. But then, she looked at the crying squirrel again, and something inside her shifted. It wasn't about being big or strong. This little creature needed help, and she was the only one here. A new feeling pushed through the fear, a surge of determination. Skye knew she couldn't free the squirrel herself, but maybe, just maybe, she could get help. She remembered hearing stories about a wise old owl who lived in the tallest tree in the forest. They said he could see and hear everything. But his tree was so far up, a height she had never dared to fly before. Taking a deep breath, Skye made a decision. She would not let her size stop her. "Don't worry," she chirped to the baby squirrel, her voice shaking but firm. "I'm going to get help. Just hang on." With a powerful push from her little legs, Skye launched into the air. She flew higher than she ever had, her small wings beating against the wind with a newfound strength. She ignored the burning in her muscles and the doubt in her mind. All she could think about was the crying squirrel. As she climbed higher and higher, the world below got smaller. Finally, she reached the top branches of the forest canopy, a place she had only dreamed of seeing. She flew towards the great oak tree where the wise owl was said to live. She landed on a branch, panting, and then she did something she had never done before. She opened her beak and chirped as loudly as she possibly could. "Help! Help down below! A baby squirrel is trapped!" Her call, clear and urgent, echoed through the quiet forest. She chirped again and again, her voice piercing the afternoon calm. Back in their nests, the other sparrows heard the commotion and poked their heads out, wondering who was making such a loud noise. They saw tiny Skye, perched at the top of the forest, calling out for help without a shred of fear. A moment later, two large, silent wings sliced through the air. The wise old owl, awakened by Skye's desperate calls, landed on a branch beside her. "What is the trouble, little one?" he hooted, his voice deep and calm. Skye, still catching her breath, quickly explained the situation, pointing with her wing towards the base of the old oak tree. The owl nodded, his large yellow eyes filled with understanding. "You have done well, little sparrow," he said. "Your courage has been heard." With another silent beat of his powerful wings, he swooped down. The other birds and animals had gathered, watching from a distance, drawn by Skye's calls. They saw the owl land gently beside the trapped baby squirrel. With his strong, precise beak, He carefully snipped and pulled at the thorny vines, one by one, until the little squirrel was finally free. The squirrel's mother, who had been searching frantically, rushed over and hugged her baby tight, showering him with kisses and thanking the wise owl. But then the wise owl turned to the crowd of animals. He looked directly at Skye, who was now perched on a lower branch, watching the happy reunion. "Today," the owl announced, his voice carrying across the clearing, "we all owe our thanks not just to my strength, but to the enormous courage of this very small sparrow." He looked at Skye. "Your size does not matter, little one. It was your heart that saved this life. You were brave when you were scared. You were strong when you felt weak. That is the true meaning of courage." All the animals, including the sparrows who had once teased her, began to cheer for Skye. They chirped and chattered, not with mockery, but with genuine admiration. From that day on, no one ever made fun of Skye's size again. They saw her not as a small sparrow who couldn't fly fast, but as Skye the brave, the hero of the forest. Skye learned a valuable lesson that day. Being brave isn't about how big or strong you are on the outside. True bravery, the kind that can move mountains and save lives, comes from the heart. It's about choosing to act, to help, to speak up, even when you're afraid. And that's a power we all have inside of us. So next time you feel too small or too weak to make a difference, remember the story of Skye. Remember that your voice, your actions, and your courage can have a huge impact, no matter your size. Thanks so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Let us know in the comments below about a time you found courage you didn't know you had. See you in the next video.